Cell, Dr. Gyro's perfect evolving android. Metal Sonic, Dr. Eggman's ultimate adapting robot. These two artificial menaces act as a perfect reflection of the world around them, taking whatever's thrown at them and throwing it right back in the name of perfection. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick, and it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. In a not-so-distant future, the world lies in ruins. All life eradicated and all nations burned away by the androids. And at the center of this burning mess was the ultimate android, the perfect creation of one Dr. Gyro, Cell. Or he was meant to be, but he wasn't perfect yet. You see, it was meant to be that he would absorb the other androids, assimilating them into himself to grow in power. Unfortunately, the last two androids he needed had been destroyed by the last great hero of Earth, Trunks. Not to worry though, because sneaky old Cell had a solution. Cell attacked and killed Trunks himself, and from there commandeered a time machine from the fallen hero, crossing time streams and entering into a new timeline, before the world had fallen and where the androids were still intact. But to fit in the machine, Cell had to devolve himself, reverting into just a simple egg and forsaking his current imperfect form. But it would be worth it. For 4 years, Cell lay dormant in this new timeline, burrowed underground as a larva, before finally re-emerging once he was ready to claim his prize. Though, he is still worried there wouldn't be enough power, so he went around town to town, sloping up as many people as he could, absorbing all of their essence into himself to get closer and closer to perfection. The heroes of the world, the Z-Fighters, raced to stop him. But upon learning the truth of his nature, came face to face with the realization of what they were truly up against. Cell had the essence of some of the greatest warriors the galaxy had ever seen within him. Frieza, Piccolo, King Cole, Vegeta, and even Goku himself. In truth, Cell was created as the ultimate weapon by combining the, well, cells of these legends into the perfect warrior. Dr. Gyro could not accomplish this creation in life, but in the future, his computer would succeed where he failed, and thus, Cell would be born. And he'd stop at nothing to get as much power as he could. Fight after fight, he'd stay one step ahead of the heroes, absorbing more and more power. It even got to the point where Cell absorbed one of the androids he came for, becoming semi-perfect. The other android, however, eluded him, and so Cell did what any reasonable villain would, and began nuking the world until they came out of hiding, sinking whole islands casually just to find them. This would culminate in a battle against Vegeta, in which Cell got completely dominated, until he managed to get his hands on the last android he needed, finally achieving true perfection and turning the tables. Vegeta and company couldn't even scratch Perfect Cell, and even the ultimate attacks that blew chunks out of him were healed up in a second. You see, Cell has a special core nucleus located in his body. As long as that cell remains intact, he can reform his body fully from any damage. Anything short of complete and utter destruction won't stop him. Cell was so confident in his superiority that before destroying the world, he decided to give Earth 10 days to send their best warriors his way, just so he could beat them up and prove he was superior. And so, using his telekinesis, he carved an entire rock formation into an arena. Oh yeah, did we mention the telekinesis? Cell has all the capabilities of his component fighters, meaning he can fly, teleport, and fire energy attacks like the Kamehameha or a special beam cannon. He even has some special abilities of his own, like being able to create Cell Juniors to fight for him, or if all else fails, self-destructing in a final gambit. It's no surprise then that Cell easily dominated all his competition. Even Goku wasn't able to put him down. Keeping up with the Super Saiyan himself is impressive, given Goku's ki was able to cross the universe in under a minute, moving it over 17 quadrillion times the speed of light. And that was in base form, let alone with Super Saiyan. This all forwarded Cell's agenda to prove his absolute superiority, and to watch the world be consumed by the terror of his perfection. But these repeated beatdowns of Goku and the Z-Fighters would enrage Goku's son, Gohan, who would go toe-to-toe against Cell in the hardest fight of the android's life, even being hit so hard that he had to cough up one of the androids and become semi-perfect again. Pushed to his limit, he'd attempt self-destruction, but would fortunately be teleported away by Goku at the last second. Unfortunately, the dude's so unkillable, he survived his own self-destruction. Especially bad, given Cell also had access to Saiyan Zenkai boosts, which increase his strength and speed anytime he's near death. And this counts toward that, letting him exponentially snowball anytime a kill shot against him fails to overcome his regeneration, even achieving a state similar to Super Saiyan. At this point, Cell wielded enough power to blow away the whole solar system, potentially galaxy, maybe even universe. Fortunately for everyone, in a final struggle against the Z Fighters, Cell would be overpowered once and for all, his own might not being enough to overcome the force he found himself up against. With a final Kamehameha, Gohan annihilated Cell once and for all, completely wiping him away with nothing to come back from. The day was saved, and the future with it. But that future was only possible when Earth threw everything it had at Cell. Against anyone and anything, Cell's perfection would reign supreme. While he may have been fated for ultimate defeat, it was not a fate that came easily. Not by a long shot.
You might say my only goal now is to enjoy myself. And of course I enjoy nothing more than the looks of perfect terror my power inspires on people's faces. That's it. That's the look. So long, kid.
Sonic the Hedgehog, the fastest thing alive, defender of the helpless, hero of the natural world, and general do-gooder. Here to stop the nefarious Dr. Eggman. Slight problem. We are not here to talk about him. The good doctor, tired of being thwarted time and time again, thought enough was enough, and created the ultimate weapon to stop his foe. A perfect mechanical replica made in Sonic's image with all his potential. It wasn't just a perfect copy, no, it was beyond perfection. Metal Sonic, as he'd be called, wouldn't just serve as a foil to Sonic. He would prove himself superior, and that he was the one who should truly bear the name. In his artificial mind, the real deal was obsolete. And so, Metal fought, and fought, and fought. But despite what he thought, what he knew, he always seemed to come up one short of his biological counterpart. Failures that the Doctor wouldn't take kindly to. Defeat after defeat, something in Metal's code finally broke. Being a pawn in the strings of the Eggman Empire just held him back. He would show them, and take over the world himself. And so, after some upgrades and a bit of betrayal, Neo Metal Sonic was born. Neo Metal would get to work surgically coordinating his forces, making use of his new liquid metal body to shapeshift into and impersonate Eggman, taking control of the Empire and enacting his true scheme. See, Metal isn't just a copy of Sonic. His true power lies in his ability to copy biodata. By analyzing a target, Metal can temporarily gain access to their abilities for himself, like Silver's telekinesis, though he doesn't keep them forever and has had to recopy them before. The copying also doesn't extend to raw power or speed, just abilities, though he's plenty capable on his own already. He should be leagues above his creator, who was able to survive this massive black hole, equivalent to 380 kilofold worth of energy. And, unsurprisingly, as a robot replica of Sonic, he's pretty dang fast as well. Even as early as his first outing, his flight could keep up with the Blue Blur, who is capable of running at the speed of light. And Metal's only gotten better since then, let alone with his Neo Metal upgrades. These same upgrades also let him protect the Black Shield, a virtually indestructible barrier around him. No surprise then that he got the Sonic heroes right where he wanted them, and with all their biodata in his possession, absorbed the entirety of Eggman's fleet to become the Metal Overlord, hell-bent on ruling the world with a literally iron fist. As the Overlord, Metal grew to titanic proportions, taking to the skies with colossal wings and fending off the heroes. He came with a seemingly unending supply of missiles, the ability to trap foes in crystal, and could even use the Chaos Control technique to freeze time. Though, with the power of legendary Chaos Emeralds, Sonic and friends would put Metal down once again. Racing past this chrome disaster, he'd take it all away with Sonic speed. Eggman, now back in action, was understandably furious, and effectively lobotomized Metal back into being a loyal servant to the Empire. He may eventually start treating some of his creations like saves if they were children, but he wasn't quite there yet. Though he would occasionally provide Metal with the Neo upgrades once more to help serve him. And serve him it did, when Metal would eventually acquire the Chaos Emerald Superior, the Master Emerald for himself, absorbing its power to become Super Neo Metal Sonic. You can tell it's powerful because it has 3 adjectives. Even the normal Chaos Emeralds were capable of taking down Solaris, a cosmic being who could erase whole timelines at 73 quadrillion times the speed of light, and threaten to unravel the whole multiverse. So, how did the hero stop him? Simple. Metal is not the most effective fighter. So he can copy abilities, but he rarely actually thinks to use them, really heavily relying on physical attacks and toying with his food, though he can still pull out the stops if push comes to shove. Sonic and friends are able to use this to their advantage, letting Shadow blast him out of Super Neo with a debilitating Chaos Spear. Plus, the Emerald isn't a flawless source of power. Its amp only lasts for a pretty brief window, and this time limit can be drawn out from extra exertion. Once that juice runs out, it's back to basics. Still though, Metal Sonic is an absolute terror. He is a perfect copy against someone left behind as old, slow, and slow. Whether he be a soldier, a schemer, or a tyrant of his own, he'll get rebuilt bigger and better every time by the Doctor, and he'll never truly be gone for good. But however many things he may be, even with the ability to be almost anyone, he will never be Sonic. Yeah, it sucks that Metal can never truly live up to what he was created to be, no matter how hard he tries. But he's matched and surpassed the Blue Blur in countless ways, and Eggman doesn't seem to mind that Metal isn't Sonic. So maybe that's enough for the ultimate badnik. So beware, Metal isn't afraid to show you why he's the greatest soldier of the Eggman Empire and crush you.
All living things kneel before your master.
Alright, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities, and so have our fighters. It's time for a death battle!
Is there no one who can match my pure perfection?
So, this is the Frogero who wouldn't shut his mouth about. I planned on letting his little experiment do as it pleased, but then it began threatening my world.
What? The military's tried this. Do you really think this army of toys can best me?
No.
I take it back. The military has not tried that yet. Well, now you've got my interest. I've never seen that technique before. Oh, right. I think I've had enough of you. Another challenger bested. What a shame.
Not yet.
Huh? So the GoBot finally transformed. No matter, I'll just...
Chaos control.
It looks like there's still a chance for some fun.
It's too late.
This won't hold me. Nice party trick. Let me fill out the guest list. Alright, kids, go play. And remember, don't break your new toy. I'm quite confident in my speed, you know. I wonder what that was about.
Frieza biodata. Keiko biodata. Piccolo biodata. Vegeta bio. Son Goku perfect cell biodata. Successfully copied.
Another form? No matter. I'll crush it like all the rest.
No. I'll crush you.
You got the wrong half, idiot! Oh, crap baskets?
Noted for next time.
No, not like this. I won't be killed by a piece of scrap like you! Not another move. One touch, and your whole planet gets wiped off the galactic map. If I'm going down, then you're coming with me. Thank you for the perfect fight! Oh, you cheeky little bitch.
Target neutralized.
Don't be so full of yourself! You know all of my techniques, but that also means I know all of your techniques. Strange, isn't it? We end this.
Affirmative.
Well, you actually fell for it.
Warning. Critical systems fail. Remaining functional reserves. Error.
Well then, allow me to fix that little error. You already know everything I can do, so you must know what comes next. Take solace, Prince Vegeta. Your useless technique will finally be worth something. Big Bang, attack! Another would-be challenger defeated. Just you wait, Son Goku. You're next.
KO! Huh, really? I thought for sure Metal had this. He had more adjectives and everything. I admit, this surprised even us. Metal Sonic held clear leads in power no matter how you looked at it. Sure, Cell could blow away the solar system, even the galaxy, but the Chaos Emeralds are contended with power that threatens several realities. It's easy to assume that'd be more than enough for Metal to blow Cell away, but raw strength isn't everything, and the full picture paints a different outcome. For starters, it's important to remember Metal only has access to that level of power when using Super Neo. Even Overlord doesn't really compare. This would limit Metal to a strict time limit, a restriction Cell doesn't have. Combine that with the fact that Super Neo and Cell are working at decently similar levels of speed, with Super Neo only being about 4 times faster, and it raises the question of if Metal will be able to properly capitalize on this time. Yeah, without that level of power, Metal's weaker forms would be taken out by Cell. So, the question became, would Super Neo be able to take down Cell before time ran? The answer is both yes and no. See, Cell's regen would make it nigh impossible for anything Metal did to stick, but Metal did have one way around this, copying Cell and firing his own Kamehameha right back at him, something which we know would kill Cell for good. Unfortunately, Metal has a tendency to heavily favor going for brute force, rarely actually employing copied abilities, a weakness that's caused him to fumble in these kind of situations before. So he'd likely figure it out eventually, but by that point it's highly likely Cell's Zenkai boost would have gotten that previously slightly slower speed to the point he could easily play keep away and dodge anything Metal threw at him, wearing him out. Even a single Zenkai boost would flip the speed gap on its head and then some. Effectively, Metal would have a limited opportunity to kill Cell, and would very likely inadvertently make his opponent fast enough to dodge him before realizing what has to be done. So, Overlord could use Chaos Control to drag out the fight, but it doesn't really help Metal win, and as we've said, Super Neo is the only form able to blow Cell away here. Metal could definitely win if he played optimally, but his preference for physical attacks means Cell's regen just wouldn't be something he'd immediately be able to counter, letting the android get faster and faster until it's too late for Metal and Super Neo runs dry. Cell, meanwhile, can keep going as long as he needs to, and would be capable of playing keep away from Super Neo, especially with things like teleportation and Cell Juniors to keep Metal further occupied. And, while Metal could copy Cell's generation and Zenkai boost for himself, he couldn't benefit from them the same way Cell could, with Super Neo being invincible, and his other forms just not stacking up. Metal Sonic had overwhelming power, but Cell's ever-increasing prowess, terrifying regeneration, and repertoire of technique let the android snag a win once his foe's batteries ran out. The robotic doppelganger wanted to prove his mettle, but ended up getting put through hell in a cell. The winner is Perfect Cell. Oh god damn it, they got the moon again!
Everything that kills me makes me feel alive. Where I've been losing sleep.